Now from the news team that's covering the Carolinas, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News Saturday morning.
Dangerous and toxic mold growing in Charlotte classrooms.
It's alarming. It's alarming.
The two other disgusting finds and the reason it may not get fixed before students return to class on Monday. And CMS still short dozens of bus drivers. The problems it's causing more than a month after school started. And I want to give you a live look outside right now, and not much to see from our Charlotte camera. Looks like we've got some, maybe some low clouds or some fog there. Thank you for joining us. I'm Blaine Tollison, and I'm here with meteorologist Jacqueline Shearer. So what's going on? Not much to see out of our Charlotte camera there.
Yeah, we're dealing with some patchy dense fog throughout the area.
Okay.
It should clear up around 9 a.m., but just know if you're heading out, of course, to the Race for the Cure, any of the other events happening right now, you just take a little bit of extra caution on those roadways for sure. Not much else going on out there, though. We're just very warm. 72 degrees right now in Charlotte, looking more like what an afternoon should look like this time of year. We'll get to 84 degrees, about 10 degrees above our average for this time of year. Still staying hot, those shower chances working their way in. And tomorrow, about the same, just a few fewer showers. By the end of the week, though, we're going to start to see some more rain, but also some slightly cooler temperatures. We're going to track that coming up in just a few minutes.
What's funny is you were saying the temperatures we have this morning are what we should be in the afternoon.
Yeah, they look more like high temperatures rather than low temperatures.
All right, thank you, Jacqueline. We'll talk to you in just a few minutes. Mold, roaches, and spiders inside this East Charlotte elementary school. Channel 9 found these problems in an inspection report just filed yesterday. And we found out that students may still be learning in moldy classrooms on Monday. Eyewitness News reporter Stephanie Tinoco asked how and when the district will fix this.
It's alarming. It's alarming.
Roaches, spiders, and moldy classrooms. Inspectors found multiple violations here at Devonshire Elementary School.
And this school needs to maybe close down.
CMS told me work orders would be filled within 48 hours because this is an urgent matter.
It doesn't have to be a bad condition for one child to be impacted.
I asked Brian Kasher what that 48-hour response time really means. He's the former manager of health and safety at CMS.
It doesn't mean they're going to fix it, and it doesn't mean that those kids are going to be any safer in 48 hours.
He says that just means someone has to look at it and determine the next steps from there. Despite the inspector citing growing mold and heavy mold smells in classrooms, the school was still rated an 87.5 or a B rating.
Parents really have a right to know. A grade B, there's no reason parents would even look into this report.
CMS told me that B rating does not warrant parent notification.
CMS can give me a robocall if they're having a pizza party. I would expect they could give me a robocall if there was mold found in my child's classroom.
Stephanie Tinoco, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
A district spokesperson says that parents can always check their child's school inspection report by visiting the county website. Just last month, we told you CMS was criticized for not telling parents about lead in water at 26 schools. It took the district nearly a year to release test results. CMS promised more transparency during a second round of testing that started last month. Testing will continue through next month. New this morning, frightening moments for two young girls in East Charlotte. A man tried to kidnap them last night. CMPD says it happened at the Sharon Point Apartments off North Sharon Amity Road. Police say a 63-year-old Jose Rodriguez tried to grab an 8- and 10-year-old as they were playing in a parking lot. Others saw what happened and went up to Rodriguez. He ran from that scene, but officers found him nearby, and he is facing attempted kidnapping charges. CMPD needs your help right now. They are searching for a 64-year-old man, and the state issued a silver alert for him. This is Jack Kennard. CMPD says that he got separated from his family last night while driving behind their car on 277. He does not know this area, and his family has no way of calling him. He was driving a blue 2016 Kia Rio, and it has this South Carolina tag, MRD 580. And if you see him or his car, call police. This is the man accused of shooting 7 officers in Florence, South Carolina. Police released Frederick Hopkins' mugshot yesterday. A judge formally charged the 74-year-old and denied bond. And we're also learning that Hopkins' sons are involved in law enforcement. Now, that's according to the state newspaper. They say one son is an officer in Orangeburg County. The other was a deputy in Lexington County, but he left the department earlier this year. Investigators said that the shooting started when officers showed up to interview Hopkins' adopted son, Seth. They were investigating a sex crime and came to arrest him. And crews say it could take up to 10 days to go through the scene. The first 3 officers faced heavy gunfire when they arrived.
These officers were ambushed very quickly. As soon as they got there, the ambush was in place. These officers did absolutely nothing wrong.
And Sergeant Terrence Caraway died in Wednesday's shooting. His funeral is planned for Monday. More than a month into the school year, and CMS is still dealing with a major bus driver shortage. It has caused students to be late to school and drivers to double up on routes. It is such a big issue that the district is holding a news conference Monday. And we spoke with a driver who wanted to remain anonymous, who says that the problem is low pay.
I love CMS. I love working for CMS because I love kids, and I love seeing them smile in the morning, but I also have a family to feed of my own, and right now I just can't live like that, especially with the cost of living going up in Charlotte.
At last check, the district was short 67 drivers, and starting pay for bus drivers is $12.87 an hour. CMS told us that it is aware of drivers' concerns and that they're exploring ways to raise that starting pay. Troopers say a man who drove into another vehicle head-on in Chesterfield County Friday died. South Carolina Highway Patrol says it happened after 1:30 p.m. on Angeles Road. The driver in the other car also had to go to the hospital. There's no word on that person's condition. A bomb killed a North Carolina Army National Guard soldier in Afghanistan. 23-year-old Sergeant James Slape was from Morehead City, and the Pentagon identified him last night. He died Thursday when an IED exploded. Sergeant Slape's unit, based in Washington, North Carolina, deployed to Afghanistan in April. New this morning, Judge Brett Kavanaugh is expected to be confirmed to the Supreme Court. He won the backing of key senators despite an FBI investigation into sexual assault accusations. The confirmation process has been the most controversial in decades. Selection would tilt America's highest court in favor of conservatives. Cabarrus County Republican leader is making national headlines, accused of mocking a Kavanaugh accuser. County GOP Chairman Lanny Lancaster shared this photo and wrote, quote, "This is the alleged sexual assault victim. Wow." The original poster claimed that the photo was a picture of Dr. Christine Blasey Ford from the 80s, but it's not. Lancaster's comment offended many on social media, and Channel 9 spoke to the chairman about it by phone.
That was a fake photo that was accidentally shared. It was removed immediately, and we have no comment.
A spokesperson for NCGOP said state Republican leaders are also not commenting on the post. Even though senators have differing views on Kavanaugh, lawmakers did recently work together on some issues facing the country. The Senate passed a sweeping opioids package, boosting funding for prevention, treatment, and recovery. It requires also that packages from overseas get screened for fentanyl. And lawmakers also worked together to pass a massive aviation bill, and it includes regulations on leg and seat room on flights.
You can battle somebody personally, but our job at the end of the day is to get important things done as well.
Bipartisanship will be tested again later this year when lawmakers have to pass other funding bills to avoid a government shutdown. The best line of defense in protecting your credit had a flaw. A problem with Experian's PIN recovery process may have put your credit at risk. When you freeze your credit, you get a PIN to unfreeze your report later. If you forget your PIN, you can answer multiple choice questions about yourself to recover it. But officials found that if you just select the answers none of the above for every question, it releases the PIN. If a criminal did that and got your report, they could open accounts or lines of credit in your name. The flaw is fixed now, but Experian hasn't said how long crooks may have gotten access to that glitch. In a statement to USA Today, the company said, quote, "While we are confident that our authentication is secure and no credit files are at risk, we have taken additional steps to make the process more secure." This discovery comes just after over a year after Equifax disclosed a massive data breach that compromised the personal data of 148 million Americans. It is coming up on 10 after, and we want to get a check-in now with meteorologist Jacqueline Shear. She's updating our forecast from Severe Weather Center 9, and we're supposed to see the sunshine at this hour, but it's a little bit unclear outside with the skies.
Yeah, we really can't see much out there right now. Here's a look from our Speedway cam. Lots of fog throughout the area. In fact, we can't even see the skyline from our Charlotte cam right now. But we are expecting this to clear up around 9 a.m. Once it does, we are expecting a hot day with some showers and some more wet weather popping up this afternoon. It's been a dry October so far. That's about to change. We'll take a look at that 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Jacqueline. Hopefully the weather won't affect any plans for today. There is some construction that's going on around town and a huge fundraiser in and around Uptown. Traffic Team 9's Mark Taylor is tracking all the events and how you can avoid any traffic slowdowns.
We got special events going on this weekend. We got repaving going on as well as utility work. We're going to start up north up in Concord, where last night crews started repaving parts of North Tryon near Moorhead Road. That's going to last until noon today. What's happening is you got 29 down to 1 lane in each direction, so we're expecting some slowdowns there, but you cannot access 29 from Moorhead. So some options for you. Your detour, if you're heading westbound from Moorhead, you'll have to take Hudspeth Road over to 29. If you're heading east, you'll have to take Old Holland Road to Weddington, Bruton Smith back towards 29 as the detour there. Now in Uptown, you've got Race for the Cure. That's happening. 9,000 attendees. That's this morning, 7:45. The route will take you down from Mint Street, Wilmore, Kingston, Summit Avenues, and South Tryon will all be affected. Heads up. Down to the south, we'll have a section of Old Providence Road. It's scheduled to close just for the day from 8 o'clock this morning until 6 p.m. on Old Providence between Sharon View Road and Lancer Drive. So you have to use Providence Road to Ray back towards Old Providence to get around the closure.
And speaking of the Race for the Cure, we have a live look uptown where the race is going to start in about 30 minutes. And wow, we've been looking at this picture since 6 o'clock this morning, and a lot more people out there. Looks like it's going to be thousands of participants, and you can see that sky, not a blue sky, but maybe it'll keep things a bit cooler for the runners out there this morning, and we'll be checking in out there to see how things get underway. A bacterial infection forced 2 high schools to cancel their football game. At 7:45, the new concerns this is giving to other schools. And snake bites rising at an alarming rate in North Carolina.
You don't expect it, but it's nature.
At 7:30, the message a snake expert wants you to hear so you can avoid getting bitten. And 911 calls are now released in the shooting death of a North Carolina student. New and next, how a security guard is defending his actions moments after firing his gun.